Curiosity is the spark that ignites great thinking. It is the driving force behind discovery, innovation, and personal growth. When we approach life with a sense of curiosity, we open ourselves to endless possibilities and fresh perspectives. One of the most powerful questions we can ask is why? This single word has been the foundation of countless breakthroughs in science, business, and the arts. When we dig deeper into the reasons behind what we observe, we challenge assumptions and uncover hidden truths. But curiosity doesn't stop at why. We also need to ask questions like how and what if. Asking how leads us to explore the processes and mechanisms behind things, giving us a clearer understanding of how to replicate or improve them. What if encourages imaginative thinking, allowing us to break free from the constraints of conventional wisdom and dream up new solutions. Being curious also means staying open to learning. In a world filled with information at our fingertips, the challenge isn't access to knowledge, but the ability to seek out meaningful insights. Curiosity pushes us to go beyond surface level information and dive deeper into understanding complex ideas. It's the difference between memorizing facts and genuinely grasping a subject's essence. Curiosity is not limited to intellectual pursuits, it applies to people as well. When we are curious about others, we become better listeners and more compassionate friends, colleagues, and family members. Asking thoughtful questions about someone's experiences, opinions, or feelings fosters deeper connections and understanding. Cultivating curiosity requires us to overcome fear, the fear of asking silly questions or venturing into unfamiliar territory. It's important to remember that every great thinker, inventor, and leader started by asking questions that others may have dismissed as trivial or impossible. To think with curiosity, we must adopt a mindset that values exploration and continuous learning. Read books outside your comfort zone, seek out conversations with people who have different viewpoints, and never be afraid to challenge your existing beliefs. The more curious we are, the more vibrant and meaningful our lives become. Would you like me to expand or refine this further? In today's fast-pacing, information-driven world, we are constantly bombarded with facts, data, and statistics. It's easy to think that acquiring as much information as possible is the key to knowledge and success. However, there is a critical distinction between simply gathering information and seeking true understanding. Understanding goes beyond collecting facts. It requires a deeper level of engagement with the material and a willingness to look at things from multiple angles. When we seek understanding, we approach information with a mindset that asks, "Why does this matter?" rather than simply, "What is this?" This approach helps us connect the dots between different pieces of information, see patterns, and understand context. It is through this deeper engagement that we can truly grasp the implications of what we know and how it fits into the bigger picture. Information can be shallow and disconnected, often presented in isolation, but understanding ties everything together. For example, we might know that a country's economy is growing, but do we understand the underlying factors driving that growth? Do we grasp how this affects the lives of the people within that economy or how it interacts with global economic trends? Seeking understanding forces us to dig deeper into the causes, consequences, and complexities of the data we encounter. Understanding is also a dynamic process. It's not enough to just understand something today. Our understanding must evolve as new information comes to light. The world is constantly changing, and our understanding must be flexible and adaptable to these changes. This is why lifelong learning is so important. True understanding involves being open to revising our beliefs and ideas when presented with new evidence or perspectives. Moreover, seeking understanding involves empathy and perspective taking. It's not just about grasping intellectual concepts. It's about grasping the experiences, emotions, and viewpoints of others. For instance, when we understand someone else's challenges or motivations, we can engage in more meaningful conversations and relationships. We move beyond judgment or assumption to a place of connection and growth. Seeking understanding also means questioning what we think we already know. Often we hold preconceived notions or biases that shape our perception of the world. These mental shortcuts can limit our ability to see things clearly or make us resistant to new ideas. By challenging these assumptions and seeking deeper understanding, we expand our horizons and improve our ability to think critically and solve problems. Finally, to seek understanding is to approach the world with a sense of humility. There is always more to learn, and our knowledge is never complete. When we acknowledge that we don't know everything and actively seek out opportunities to learn, we become more effective thinkers and communicators. We no longer settle for surface level knowledge but strive for a deeper, richer understanding of the complexities of life. Would you like me to continue expanding this or adjust the tone or direction? In our fast-paced world, it's easy to fall into the trap of constant action and outward focus. We're often caught up in doing tasks, responding to others, and fulfilling the demands of daily life. However, reflective thinking is a powerful tool that allows us to pause, assess, and make sense of the world around us. It's the process of stepping back and examining our thoughts, actions, and experiences in a thoughtful and deliberate way. Reflective thinking is not simply about thinking for the sake of thinking. It's about giving ourselves the space to consider the meaning behind what we experience, why we make the choices we do, and how our decisions affect ourselves and others. And it's an intentional pause, an invitation to slow down and evaluate the larger picture, rather than rushing toward the next task on our to-do lists. To practice reflective thinking, we must first embrace the art of slowing down. This doesn't mean withdrawing from the world entirely, but it involves carving out moments of quiet, where we can step away from the noise and the distractions of modern life. Whether through journaling, meditation, or simply sitting in silence, the key is to create space for contemplation. These moments allow us to process our thoughts, evaluate our actions, and gain clarity. Reflective thinking also involves the willingness to question our assumptions. It's about reviewing the decisions we've made, not just on the surface level, but with a deeper lens. Did we make that choice based on thoughtful reasoning, or was it influenced by external pressures, emotions, or automatic reactions? Are we repeating patterns that no longer serve us? Through reflection, we uncover the motivations behind our actions and begin to identify areas where we may need to change or grow. When we engage in reflective thinking, we also confront our mistakes and failures, not with shame or guilt, but with curiosity and a desire to learn. Every setback, every misstep is an opportunity for growth. By reflecting on what went wrong, we can gain insights into how we can handle similar situations in the future. Reflection transforms failures into stepping stones rather than obstacles, empowering us to improve and move forward with greater wisdom. Moreover, reflective thinking helps us build emotional intelligence. By reflecting on our emotional responses to different situations, we can better understand our triggers, fears, and desires. This self-awareness is crucial for managing our emotions in healthy ways and for building stronger, more authentic relationships with others. The more we reflect on our feelings, the better we become at understanding and regulating them. Another crucial aspect of reflective thinking is understanding its connection to learning. As we reflect, we integrate new experiences with our existing knowledge, deepening our understanding and solidifying what we've learned. This is why reflection is often seen as a key component of effective learning. It's not enough to simply absorb new information. We must also take the time to process it, connect it to our prior knowledge, and understand how it fits into our broader worldview. Lastly, reflective thinking requires us to embrace vulnerability. It's not easy to examine our thoughts and behaviors critically. We must be willing to face uncomfortable truths about ourselves, acknowledge our shortcomings, and accept the possibility that we might not always have all the answers. But this vulnerability is also what opens the door to personal transformation. When we dare to reflect deeply, we unlock the potential for profound change. In essence, reflective thinking is about cultivating a deeper, more intentional relationship with ourselves. It empowers us to break free from autopilot living and instead engage with our experiences in a meaningful and thoughtful way. Through reflection, we can align our actions with our values, learn from the past, and shape a future that is more aligned with who we truly want to be. Empathy is often regarded as the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. While this is certainly part of it, empathy in thought extends far beyond just recognizing someone else's emotional state. It involves actively putting ourselves in other people's shoes, seeking to understand their experiences, perspectives, and motivations with an open mind. Empathy in thought goes hand in hand with curiosity, and it enriches our thinking by allowing us to see the world through many different lenses. When we embrace empathy in thought, we are not just thinking about others in terms of how they may be feeling in a given moment. Instead, we consider the broader context of their lives, how their past experiences, culture, values, and circumstances might shape their views and actions. This deeper understanding helps us build stronger connections, communicate more effectively, and make more thoughtful, informed decisions. It opens our minds to a diversity of experiences and viewpoints that we might otherwise overlook. One of the greatest challenges of empathetic thinking is overcoming our own biases. As humans, we are naturally inclined to see the world through the filter of our own experiences, beliefs, and assumptions. These biases, however, can cloud our judgment and make it difficult to see things from another's point of view. Empathy challenges us to suspend these judgments and engage with others without preconceived notions. It encourages us to listen not only to what people say, but also to the deeper, often unspoken emotions and needs behind their words. This requires vulnerability and openness, qualities that are often difficult to embrace in a world that prizes certainty and control. To truly empathize with someone, we must be willing to step outside our own comfort zones and acknowledge that we cannot always fully understand their experience. Yet, it is this very act of stepping outside ourselves that fosters connection and mutual respect. When we make the effort to understand rather than simply judge, we create an environment where empathy can flourish, and we begin to build bridges rather than walls. Empathy in thought also helps us see the complexities in any situation. People's behaviors and reactions are often influenced by many factors that may not be immediately visible. Instead of oversimplifying or stereotyping, empathetic thinking challenges us to recognize the nuances of every individual and scenario. For instance, when we witness someone behaving in an unexpected way, instead of labeling their behavior as wrong or irrational, empathy allows us to wonder about the underlying factors at play. Is there something they're struggling with that we don't know about? Are there pressures or challenges in their life that are influencing their actions? Moreover, empathy fosters an environment of compassion, collaboration, and cooperation. In both personal relationships and professional settings, when we think with empathy, we are better equipped to support others, resolve conflicts, and find solutions that are mutually beneficial. It allows us to approach differences not as problems to be solved, but as opportunities for dialogue and understanding. Through empathetic thinking, we can move away from adversarial approaches and toward a shared understanding. In the workplace, for example, leaders who practice empathy are able to motivate and inspire their teams because they understand the individual needs and aspirations of their colleagues. Empathy helps them provide support, offer feedback that encourages growth, and foster a culture of trust and respect. Likewise, in personal relationships, empathy creates deeper, more meaningful connections. By embracing the perspectives and emotions of those around us, we can show up as more compassionate, understanding partners, friends, and family members. Empathy in thought also plays a significant role in societal change. To address issues such as inequality, injustice, and division, we must first strive to understand the experiences of those who are affected by these issues. Without empathy, we risk perpetuating harmful stereotypes and making decisions that do not serve the collective good. When we open our minds to the struggles of others, we create a foundation for systemic change that is rooted in understanding and respect for everyone's humanity. Finally, embracing empathy in thought means recognizing that our perspectives are not the only valid ones. It involves accepting that we do not have all the answers and being open to learning from others. It encourages us to ask more thoughtful questions, listen with intention, and reflect on how our actions impact those around us. Empathy is a key ingredient for creating a more compassionate and interconnected world, where we are not isolated in our individual experiences, but connected through our shared humanity. Would you like to adjust or expand any aspect of this further? Our assumptions are the lenses through which we view the world. They shape how we interpret events, make decisions, and interact with others. While assumptions can be helpful in simplifying complex situations or quickly navigating everyday life, they also have the potential to limit our thinking, reinforce biases, and create barriers between us and the truth. Challenging our assumptions is an essential practice for intellectual growth, personal development, and deeper understanding. At the core of challenging assumptions is the recognition that we do not have all the answers. The way we perceive things is influenced by our experiences, culture, upbringing, and environment. These factors inevitably create mental frameworks that guide our thinking, but they are not absolute truths. They are simply perspectives shaped by our individual journeys. By questioning the assumptions we hold, we open ourselves up to new information, broader perspectives, and richer insights. To challenge our assumptions, we must first be willing to recognize them. This requires self-awareness and introspection. It's easy to believe that our way of thinking is objective or universally correct. However, once we examine our thoughts more closely, we often realize that we are operating with preconceived ideas that we've never fully questioned. For example, we might assume that people from a certain background think or behave in a particular way, or that success follows a predictable, linear path. These assumptions are not inherently true. They are generalized beliefs that may not reflect the full complexity of the situation or the diversity of human experience. Once we've identified an assumption, the next step is to ask ourselves why we hold it and whether it is based on facts, evidence, or unfounded beliefs. Are we assuming something because it aligns with our past experiences or because we've heard it repeated by others without questioning its validity? By critically examining the origins of our assumptions, we gain insight into how they shape our perception of the world. This process also helps us identify and confront biases that may be distorting our view. For instance, we may hold biases related to race, gender, age, or social status that affect how we treat others or how we interpret their actions. Challenging assumptions also means seeking alternative viewpoints and experiences. When we interact with people who have different backgrounds or perspectives, we often discover that our assumptions do not hold up under scrutiny. For instance, someone from a different cultural background may approach a problem in a way that is entirely foreign to us, challenging our assumptions about what constitutes a logical or correct solution. These encounters allow us to expand our thinking and embrace the richness of human diversity. We begin to see that there are multiple ways of thinking, problem solving, and living, each shaped by a variety of factors that we may not have considered before. In many situations, assumptions can lead to misunderstanding, conflict, or missed opportunities. When we make assumptions about others without taking the time to understand their perspectives, we risk misjudging their intentions, dismissing their ideas, or alienating them. In personal relationships, assumptions can lead to communication breakdowns where we assume we know what someone else is thinking or feeling without taking the time to ask or listen. In the workplace, assumptions can limit creativity and innovation by encouraging conformity or discouraging fresh ideas. By challenging our assumptions, we become more open-minded and adaptable, allowing us to navigate complex situations with greater insight and empathy. Moreover, challenging our assumptions encourages continuous learning. When we assume we know something, we stop searching for new information or perspectives. We close ourselves off to the possibility of learning and growing. But when we question what we think we know, we stay curious, open to new ideas, and committed to expanding our knowledge. This mindset fosters intellectual humility, a recognition that we don't have all the answers and that there is always more to learn. Sometimes, challenging assumptions means confronting uncomfortable truths. It requires us to question long-held beliefs or challenge societal norms that may be outdated or harmful. This can be difficult as it often involves disrupting the status quo or confronting ideas that we have relied on for a long time. But it is through this discomfort that we experience true growth. By challenging our assumptions, we break free from limiting beliefs and open ourselves up to new possibilities. Challenging assumptions also means embracing uncertainty. The truth is, we cannot know everything. and many aspects of life are complex, ambiguous, and ever-changing. Rather than clinging to rigid assumptions, we must learn to tolerate ambiguity and remain open to new ideas and perspectives. This allows us to approach challenges with flexibility, creativity, and resilience. Ultimately, challenging our assumptions is not about being skeptical or dismissive of everything we know. It's about adopting a mindset of curiosity, openness, and critical thinking. It's about recognizing that our understanding of the world is always evolving, and that by questioning our assumptions, we pave the way for deeper insights, richer experiences, and more meaningful connections with others. Clarity is a cornerstone of effective communication. It ensures that your message is not only heard but understood in the way you intend. The words we choose and how we deliver them have a profound impact on the listener's ability to comprehend, connect with, and act upon our message. Speaking with clarity, however, is not just about using simple words or avoiding jargon. It's about being intentional, organized, and mindful of how your thoughts are presented. To speak with clarity, the first step is organizing your thoughts before you speak. Often we may feel compelled to speak impulsively, to respond immediately, or to fill silence with words. However, this can lead to confusion, misunderstandings, or statements that are half-formed. By taking a moment to pause and reflect on what you want to say, you give yourself the space to focus on your main points and ensure that your ideas are coherent. Planning and structuring your message in advance allows you to express your thoughts more confidently and effectively, rather than leaving room for ambiguity or misinterpretation. One key aspect of clarity is simplicity. While it may seem tempting to use complex vocabulary or convoluted phrasing to sound more intelligent or authoritative, doing so often works against clarity. The goal should always be to convey your message in the most straightforward way possible, without unnecessary embellishments. This doesn't mean dumbing down your language. It means being mindful of your audience and making sure that the language you use is accessible to them. Using simpler words doesn't make you less intelligent. It makes you more effective at communicating your ideas. In addition, clarity is enhanced by focusing on one idea at a time. When we try to express too many thoughts at once, our message becomes diluted, and the listener may struggle to grasp what we are truly trying to convey. It's important to break down complex ideas into digestible parts, presenting each piece one by one. If you have several points to make, prioritize the most important ones and build your message step by step, ensuring that each part connects logically to the next. A clear structure helps the audience follow your train of thought and makes your message more persuasive and memorable. The use of examples, analogies, and metaphors can also enhance clarity by making abstract or complex ideas easier to understand. For instance, when explaining a difficult concept, you might compare it to something familiar to your audience or use a relatable story to illustrate the point. This not only clarifies the concept but also engages the listener's imagination and emotions, making the message more accessible and impactful. Metaphors and analogies bridge the gap between unfamiliar ideas and everyday experiences, allowing listeners to see things in a new light. Tone and pacing are other important elements of speaking with clarity. The way we speak, the tone, volume, and rhythm accept how our message is received. Speaking too quickly can make it hard for others to follow along, while speaking too slowly can lead to disengagement. Varying your tone helps emphasize key points and keeps the audience engaged. Pauses are also crucial. They give listeners time to process the information you've shared and create emphasis. A well-placed pause can allow an important idea to sink in and give your audience space to reflect. Equally important is nonverbal communication. Our body language, facial expressions, and eye contact can reinforce or undermine the clarity of our speech. For instance, crossing your arms or avoiding eye contact might make you seem disinterested or defensive, even if your words are clear. Conversely, maintaining open posture, offering a warm expression, and making eye contact can enhance the clarity of your message by signaling sincerity, engagement, and confidence. Non-verbal cues act as a visual support system for your words, helping to align your message with your delivery. Another critical factor in speaking with clarity is being mindful of your audience. Effective communication requires a deep understanding of who your audience is, what they care about, and how they process information. Speaking to a group of scientists about a complex research study requires different language and approaches than speaking to a general audience about the same topic. It's essential to adapt your language, examples, and tone based on who you are speaking to. This doesn't mean dumbing down your content, but rather presenting it in a way that resonates with your specific audience. Knowing your audience allows you to choose the right level of detail, context, and language that will maximize comprehension and engagement. Listening actively also plays a significant role in speaking with clarity. While speaking clearly is essential, listening to others and understanding their feedback is equally important. When we listen carefully, we can adjust our communication in real time, answering questions, clarifying misunderstandings, or emphasizing points that need further elaboration. By remaining receptive to the needs of our audience, we ensure that our message is not only delivered but fully understood. Moreover, clarity in speech is also about authenticity. When you speak with confidence in your true beliefs and values, your words become more impactful. People can sense when someone is speaking from a place of sincerity, and this builds trust and credibility. On the other hand, if you speak in a way that feels rehearsed or disconnected from your own convictions, your audience may struggle to connect with your message. Ultimately, speaking with clarity is about being intentional, thoughtful, and engaging. It's about presenting your ideas in a way that is both accessible and compelling. By focusing on organizing your thoughts, simplifying your language, and tailoring your approach to your audience, you can communicate more effectively, reduce misunderstandings, and ensure that your message has the desired impact. Listening is an essential skill for effective communication, yet it is often underrated and misunderstood. Many people assume that listening is a passive activity, simply hearing the words someone else is saying. However, active listening is far more than just hearing sounds. It is about engaging with the speaker on a deeper level, understanding their message, and responding in a way that promotes meaningful exchange. To truly listen actively, we must be fully present, attentive, and open to the ideas and emotions behind the words being spoken. Active listening begins with focus. It requires us to remove distractions, both external and internal, and to direct our full attention to the speaker. This means setting aside our own thoughts, judgments, and distractions in order to be fully receptive to the person speaking. Whether we are listening to a colleague, a friend, or a family member, being mentally present and engaged shows respect for the other person and allows us to understand their message more clearly. The moment we allow our minds to wander or begin formulating responses before the speaker is finished, we lose the essence of their message and disrupt the flow of communication. Another critical aspect of active listening is giving feedback, both verbal and non-verbal. Verbal feedback might involve surmising or paraphrasing what the speaker has said to confirm our understanding. For example, so what I'm hearing is that you're feeling frustrated because of the delay in the project. Is that right? This shows the speaker that we are not only hearing their words, but also processing the meaning behind them. It provides an opportunity for clarification if we've misunderstood anything and reinforces that we are engaged in the conversation. Non-verbal feedback such as nodding, maintaining eye contact, and using open body language also signals our attentiveness and understanding. When we lean in slightly or make eye contact, we are communicating to the speaker that we are invested in what they are saying. These small cues make a big difference in how the speaker perceives our level of engagement, encouraging them to continue sharing openly. Without these verbal and non-verbal signs, the speaker may feel dismissed or unheard, leading to frustration and a breakdown in communication. Active listening also involves empathy, the ability to feel and understand the emotions of the speaker. Often people do not just want to be heard, they want to feel understood on an emotional level. They may be sharing their experiences, frustrations, hopes, or dreams, and they need a listener who can acknowledge and validate these feelings. By practicing empathy, we make space for the speaker's emotions, which fosters trust and connection. Instead of jumping in with solutions or judgments, active listening means simply being with the speaker in their moment and reflecting their feelings back in a compassionate way. This allows the speaker to feel safe and heard, which can be incredibly powerful in both personal and professional conversations. Active listening also requires patience. Sometimes people need time to fully express their thoughts and emotions, and rushing them or interrupting can be detrimental to the conversation. Patience allows the speaker to finish their thoughts without feeling pressured or judged, creating an environment where they can fully articulate their feelings and ideas. It also allows us as listeners to better process the information being shared, giving us time to ask thoughtful questions and offer more meaningful responses. Another important component of active listening is asking open-ended questions. These are questions that invite the speaker to elaborate on their ideas, feelings, and experiences rather than yes/no questions that can cut the conversation short. For example, asking, "What led you to feel this way?" or "Can you tell me more about your experience with that?" opens up the dialogue and encourages the speaker to delve deeper into their thoughts. Open-ended questions demonstrate that we are genuinely interested in the speaker's perspective and are eager to understand more fully. It is also essential to avoid jumping to conclusions or making assumptions while listening. Sometimes our own biases or prior experiences can cloud our judgment and lead us to prematurely interpret or judge what the speaker is saying. Active listening requires us to hold off on forming conclusions until the speaker has had the chance to finish their message. Instead of assuming we know where the conversation is going, we must approach the dialogue with curiosity, openness, and a willingness to be surprised. Additionally, effective active listening involves managing emotional reactions. In many conversations, especially difficult or sensitive ones, we may experience strong emotional reactions to what the other person is saying, whether it's frustration, anger, or even excitement. These emotions can sometimes interfere with our ability to listen objectively. Active listening means recognizing and acknowledging our own emotional responses while still staying focused on the speaker's message. It's important to regulate our own feelings and not let them derail the conversation. This is especially vital in high-stakes discussions where emotions can easily escalate. Furthermore, active listening promotes better problem solving and conflict resolution. When we truly listen to others, we gain valuable insights into their perspectives, needs, and desires. This makes it easier to collaborate, brainstorm, and come up with solutions that take everyone's viewpoints into account. By listening actively and with empathy, we create an atmosphere of mutual respect where all voices are valued and differences can be worked through more effectively. Lastly, active listening is a skill that requires continuous practice and self-awareness. It's easy to slip into bad habits such as interrupting, judging, or rushing the conversation. But these behaviors can diminish the quality of our interactions. The more we consciously practice active listening, the better we become at it. It requires us to be mindful in every conversation, to check in with ourselves, and to constantly strive to improve our ability to listen deeply. The effort we put into listening actively pays off in richer, more meaningful relationships as we build trust, respect, and deeper connections with others. Active listening at its core is a practice of patience, empathy, and engagement. By fully attending to the speaker, offering feedback, and asking thoughtful questions, we create a space where true communication can happen. In doing so, we not only improve our understanding, but also deepen our relationships, foster collaboration, and contribute to more productive, positive interactions. Body language plays an incredibly significant role in how our words are received and understood by others. In fact, studies suggest that the majority of communication is non-verbal, with body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice often carrying more weight than the actual words we speak. Being mindful of our body language is crucial because it can either reinforce or contradict the message we are trying to convey. By paying attention to the nonverbal signals we send, we can communicate with greater authenticity, build trust, and foster stronger connections with others. The first step in being mindful of your body language is recognizing that every movement and gesture you make sends a message. For example, crossing your arms can be perceived as a sign of defensiveness or resistance, while an open posture with uncrossed arms suggests receptiveness and openness. The way we position ourselves in relation to others also communicates a lot. Leaning in slightly during a conversation can indicate interest and engagement, while leaning away or turning your body can suggest disengagement or discomfort. By becoming more conscious of these physical cues, we can align our body language with our verbal message, ensuring that both are consistent. Eye contact is one of the most powerful elements of body language. When we make eye contact, we demonstrate that we are paying attention, are interested in what the other person is saying, and are emotionally present in the moment. Conversely, avoiding eye contact can be interpreted as disinterest, insecurity, or even dishonesty. However, it's important to strike the right balance. Too much eye contact can feel intimidating or confrontational, while too little can feel distant or evasive. Maintaining appropriate eye contact fosters trust and conveys sincerity, making it an essential tool for effective communication. Being mindful of cultural differences in eye contact is also important, as different cultures have varying norms regarding how much eye contact is appropriate. Facial expressions are another critical component of body language. They can often convey emotions more effectively than words themselves. For instance, a genuine smile can communicate warmth, friendliness, and empathy, while a furrowed brow may signal confusion, concern, or disagreement. Our facial expressions are often subconscious, but they have a significant impact on how our message is received. Being aware of our facial expressions helps us avoid sending mixed signals that might confuse the listener or convey unintended emotions. Practicing awareness of how we express our feelings through our faces can help ensure that we are always presenting the right emotional tone during interactions. In addition to facial expressions, gestures also play a vital role in conveying meaning. We often use our hands to emphasize a point, describe something in more detail, or express enthusiasm. A well-timed hand gesture can enhance a message and make it more memorable. On the other hand, excessive or erratic hand movements can be distracting and take attention away from the point we are trying to make. Similarly, fidgeting or tapping can signal nervousness or impatience, which can undermine our message or make others feel uncomfortable. Being mindful of our gestures ensures that they support rather than detract from our communication. Posture is a reflection of our overall state of mind and attitude. A slouched posture can convey disinterest, fatigue, or lack of confidence, while standing or sitting up straight signals attentiveness, confidence, and engagement. In professional settings, maintaining good posture can help project authority and credibility, while in personal conversations, a relaxed and open posture can make others feel more comfortable and at ease. How we carry ourselves physically influences how others perceive us, and it can significantly affect the tone and outcome of a conversation. Being mindful of posture helps us present ourselves in the best possible light and ensure that we come across as approachable, confident, and engaged. Another essential aspect of body language is personal space or proxemics. The amount of personal space we maintain during a conversation varies depending on cultural norms, personal preferences, and the nature of the relationship. In some cultures, people are comfortable with close proximity, while in others, more distance is required for comfort. Being aware of and respecting someone else's personal space is crucial for maintaining a sense of safety and comfort during communication. Invading someone's personal space can make them feel threatened or uneasy, while respecting boundaries fosters trust and mutual respect. In professional or formal settings, it's important to be mindful of these boundaries to maintain a sense of professionalism and avoid misunderstandings. In addition to the more obvious aspects of body language, tone of voice plays an integral role in how our message is interpreted. The same words can have vastly different meanings depending on how they are said. For example, a sentence like, "I'm so happy to be here," can convey excitement and positivity if said with an upbeat, enthusiastic tone, but it can also sound sarcastic or disinterested if said flatly or with a monotone voice. Being mindful of the tone we use, whether it's friendly, respectful, casual, or formal, ensures that our verbal and non-verbal messages align and that we communicate with the intended emotion and meaning. The importance of congruence between our words and body language cannot be overstated. When our verbal communication contradicts our non-verbal signals, it creates confusion and diminishes the impact of our message. For example, if we say, "I'm happy to help," but our arms are crossed and our facial expression is tense, the listener may sense that we are not genuinely interested or available to help, even if we claim otherwise. This incongruence can lead to misunderstandings and a lack of trust. When both verbal and non-verbal communication align, however, the message is more powerful, authentic, and trustworthy. Being mindful of our body language is also a way to become more self-aware. It can help us identify how we are feeling in a given situation and how we are presenting ourselves to others. For instance, if we notice ourselves slouching or crossing our arms during a conversation, it might be a sign that we are feeling defensive, disengaged, or anxious. By noticing these signals, we can adjust our posture or body language to create a more positive and open environment. Additionally, paying attention to the body language of others can help us gauge how they are feeling and adjust our approach accordingly. Non-verbal cues from others can provide valuable insights into their emotional state, enabling us to respond with greater empathy and understanding. Being mindful of body language is not just about how we present ourselves to others. It's also about creating a more conducive environment for effective communication. By paying attention to our physical presence and being intentional in how we use body language, we can foster more open, respectful, and meaningful conversations. Understanding the power of body language allows us to communicate with authenticity, build stronger relationships, and connect with others in more profound ways. As speaking with purpose is a fundamental aspect of effective communication. It's about being intentional with your words, knowing why you're speaking, and aligning your message with your objectives. Every time you open your mouth, you are not just conveying information, you're engaging with your audience, influencing their thoughts and emotions, and contributing to the broader conversation. By speaking with purpose, you ensure that your words have meaning and that they are directed toward achieving a specific outcome. The first step in speaking with purpose is clarifying your own intentions. Before you speak, ask yourself, what do I hope to achieve with this communication? Are you sharing information, offering insight, motivating action, or simply starting a dialogue? Understanding the goal behind your words allows you to frame your message effectively, focus on the most relevant points, and avoid unnecessary tangents that could dilute your impact. For example, if you're delivering a speech at a conference, your purpose may be to educate the audience about a specific topic. In this case, your language should be clear, focused, and backed by evidence to support your points. If, on the other hand, you're having a casual conversation with a friend, the purpose may simply be to connect, share experiences, and offer emotional support. In each case, the content and tone of your speech should reflect the intended outcome. One of the key benefits of speaking with purpose is that it helps you avoid speaking aimlessly or filling space with unnecessary words. Far too often, people speak just for the sake of speaking, whether to fill silence, make small talk, or seek validation. However, when we speak without purpose, we risk creating confusion, diluting our message, or losing the attention of our audience. Purpose-driven speech is focused, concise, and clear. When you know exactly what you want to say and why, every word counts, and you can deliver your message more efficiently. Speaking with purpose also requires awareness of your audience. It's crucial to consider who you're speaking to and tailor your message to meet their needs, interests, and level of understanding. Different situations and contexts require different approaches to communication. For instance, speaking to a room full of industry professionals about a technical topic demands a different tone and language than speaking to a group of students who may be less familiar with the subject. If you fail to consider the audience's perspective, your message may not resonate with them, and the purpose of your communication may be lost. The more you understand the needs and expectations of your audience, the better you can adjust your speech to achieve your goals. When you speak with purpose, you also ensure that your words are aligned with your values and beliefs. Authenticity plays a significant role in purposeful speech. When your words are a true reflection of your convictions, they carry more weight and are more likely to inspire trust and credibility in your audience. People can sense when someone is speaking from a place of genuine passion or conviction. In contrast, when you speak in a way that is inauthentic or disconnected from your true values, your message may come across as hollow or manipulative. For example, if you speak passionately about a cause you believe in, your enthusiasm and sincerity will be apparent, and your words will likely inspire others. On the other hand, if you speak about a topic just to appease others or gain approval, your message may lack the necessary conviction to persuade or engage your listeners. Purposeful speech also involves using language that is both precise and powerful. By choosing words carefully and thoughtfully, you can make a stronger impact on your audience. Powerful language often involves using vivid, descriptive words that evoke emotions, create mental images, or stir the imagination. For instance, instead of saying this project is important, you might say, this project is a crucial step toward transforming the future of our industry. The latter choice is more engaging, compelling, and action-oriented. Speaking with purpose doesn't mean using fancy or complex language. Rather, it's about selecting words that serve your message and capture the attention of your audience. Another important element of speaking with purpose is being mindful of the tone you use. Tone reflects your attitude toward the subject matter, your audience, and the situation at hand. Your tone can greatly influence how your message is received and interpreted. For example, a calm, reassuring tone may be appropriate when providing feedback, while an enthusiastic, energetic tone may be needed to motivate or inspire. Speaking with purpose involves choosing a tone that aligns with your message and your goals, and being aware of how your tone might impact the listener. Inappropriate tone, whether it's overly aggressive, condescending, or indifferent, can undermine your credibility and turn people off even if your message is valid. By speaking with a tone that matches your intentions, you are more likely to build rapport, foster connection, and achieve your desired outcome. In addition, speaking with purpose means being clear about your message's structure. A well-structured speech or conversation is easier for the audience to follow and engage with. The structure helps maintain focus, guide the conversation, and highlight the key points you want to emphasize. Whether you are writing a speech, delivering a presentation, or participating in a meeting, having a clear structure is essential. Organize your thoughts into a logical sequence. Begin with an introduction, followed by the main points, and then a conclusion. This structure keeps your message organized and ensures that it flows smoothly without leaving gaps or confusing the listener. To speak with purpose, it's also essential to practice active listening and remain adaptable. Sometimes the course of a conversation may change based on feedback, questions, or shifting dynamics. A purposeful speaker isn't rigid in their approach, but is flexible enough to respond thoughtfully to the conversation at hand. This requires staying attuned to the needs of the audience and adjusting your message as needed. For example, if you're giving a presentation and you notice that your audience looks confused, you might pause to clarify a point or invite questions to ensure that everyone is following. By staying present and responsive, you ensure that your communication remains relevant and effective. One of the hallmarks of speaking with purpose is a sense of direction. When you speak with intention, you know what outcome you're working toward, whether it's to inform, persuade, entertain, or connect. Every part of your message, whether it's the content, the tone, the delivery, or the timing, is aligned with this goal. This sense of direction not only gives your speech clarity, but also helps keep your audience engaged. People are more likely to stay attentive when they can clearly see the purpose behind what you're saying. A speech or conversation without purpose can feel meandering, unfocused, or irrelevant, causing your audience to disengage or lose interest. Speaking with purpose also involves being mindful of timing. The right moment to say something can make a world of difference in how it's received. Purposeful communication involves recognizing the appropriate time to speak, allowing for pauses, and ensuring that your message is delivered at the most opportune moment. Whether it's waiting for the right moment to introduce a new idea in a conversation or delivering a punchline in a speech, timing is an essential element of purposeful speech. The effectiveness of your message often hinges not only on what you say, but also on when you say it. Ultimately, speaking with purpose allows you to communicate with confidence, clarity, and impact. By understanding your goals, considering your audience, and aligning your language tone, and message, you ensure that every word you speak serves a meaningful function. Purposeful speech fosters more effective and engaging communication, enabling you to influence others, achieve your desired outcomes, and build stronger relationships. When you speak with purpose, your words become powerful tools for connection and action. Being open to feedback is one of the most valuable qualities a speaker can possess. Feedback, whether positive or constructive, offers us an opportunity to learn, grow, and improve both our thinking and communication skills. The ability to accept feedback gracefully is a sign of maturity, humility, and a genuine desire to refine one's abilities. Unfortunately, many people shy away from feedback because they view it as criticism or as an attack on their abilities. However, when we understand the true value of feedback and approach it with an open mind, we can use it as a powerful tool for self-improvement and personal growth. The first step in being open to feedback is to adopt the mindset that feedback is an essential part of the learning process. Just as we wouldn't expect to master a skill without practice, we can't expect to become effective communicators without receiving and acting on feedback. Feedback allows us to see ourselves from a different perspective, and it provides insights that we might not be able to recognize on our own. Whether it's about the clarity of our ideas, our tone, our body language, or how well we're connecting with our audience, feedback helps us identify areas for improvement that may not be obvious in the moment. One key to being open to feedback is cultivating emotional resilience. Feedback, especially constructive feedback, can sometimes feel uncomfortable or even challenging to hear. It can trigger feelings of defensiveness or self-doubt, especially if the feedback highlights areas we haven't fully addressed or might be sensitive about. However, being open to feedback means resisting the urge to react defensively. It's important to recognize that feedback is not a judgment of who we are as a person, but rather an opportunity to refine our skills and become better. When we allow ourselves to hear feedback without taking it personally, we create space for growth and development. Another important aspect of receiving feedback is learning to ask for it proactively. Rather than waiting for others to provide feedback on their own, we should actively seek it out. This can be done by asking trusted colleagues, mentors, or peers for their input after a presentation, conversation, or any other communicative event. By being proactive in asking for feedback, we demonstrate a willingness to learn and improve, as well as a recognition that others may have valuable insights to offer. Proactively asking for feedback also allows us to take more control over our own growth, making it a more deliberate and intentional process. When we ask for feedback, it's crucial to be specific about what we're seeking. Rather than asking a vague question like, "Do you think I did well?" we should ask more targeted questions such as, "Was my message clear?" or "Did I make an impact with my delivery?" Specific questions help the person giving feedback to focus on particular aspects of the interaction and provide more meaningful insights. It also helps us better understand what areas we need to work on and where we've succeeded. By focusing on specific aspects of our communication, we can take actionable steps to improve and refine our approach. Listening to feedback is just as important as asking for it. Often, when people receive feedback, they are quick to explain themselves or justify their actions. This is a natural reaction, but it can interfere with the process of truly understanding the feedback being offered. Instead of defending ourselves, it's important to listen attentively, without interruption, and fully absorb the feedback. This means putting aside our ego and truly hearing what the other person is saying. By listening without judgment, we allow ourselves to understand the feedback from the other person's perspective, which increases the chances of implementing it effectively. When we receive feedback, it's also important to reflect on it thoughtfully before reacting. In the heat of the moment, we might feel a knee-jerk reaction to either accept or reject the feedback based on our emotions. However, the most productive response is to take the time to consider the feedback more deeply. Is there truth to what was said? How can we apply this feedback to improve our communication going forward? Reflecting on feedback allows us to engage with it more thoughtfully and enables us to make more informed decisions about how we move forward. It's also a good idea to take notes during feedback sessions so we can revisit them later and create an action plan for improvement. Another important part of being open to feedback is recognizing that no one has all the answers or can communicate perfectly at all times. Even the most experienced speakers and communicators can benefit from feedback. This realization should make us more humble and open to suggestions, knowing that feedback is an opportunity for all of us to grow. It's also helpful to remember that feedback is an ongoing process. Just because we receive feedback on one occasion doesn't mean we are done learning or improving. In fact, receiving feedback regularly helps us stay on track and continue refining our communication skills over time. Feedback can also come in many forms, not just verbal. Non-verbal cues such as body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice can offer significant insight into how our message is being received. In sight, we see feedback into a specific signal if there is a need to process. If an audience seems disinterested, confused, or disengaged, that's a form of feedback signaling that our communication might not be effective. Similarly, if someone reacts with enthusiasm or makes an effort to engage with our message, that's positive feedback that we're on the right track. Paying attention to these cues allows us to adjust our approach in real time and enhance the overall impact of our message. It's also important to recognize that feedback can come from a variety of sources, and it's helpful to solicit feedback from a diverse group of people. Different individuals may offer different perspectives that can shed light on different aspects of our communication. For example, a colleague might offer feedback on the technical content of a presentation, while a friend might comment on the emotional impact or relatability of the message. Each piece of feedback provides valuable input that can help us become more well-rounded communicators. Gathering feedback from multiple sources allows us to see the full picture and apply a broader range of suggestions. In some cases, we may encounter feedback that feels unfair or difficult to accept. This is another challenge of being open to feedback. It's important to remember that not all feedback will be useful or relevant to our goals, and it's okay to disagree with certain pieces of feedback. However, even if we don't agree with the feedback, it's still valuable to consider it, reflect on it, and decide whether it applies to our development. In situations where we feel the feedback is unjust or unclear, it's appropriate to ask for clarification and engage in a dialogue to better understand the perspective of the person providing the feedback. Constructive conversations around feedback can lead to mutual understanding and improved communication on both sides. Ultimately, being open to feedback is about embracing the idea that we are always capable of improvement. The most effective communicators are those who actively seek out and apply feedback, recognizing that the process of refining one's communication skills is continuous. When we welcome feedback with a mindset of growth, we turn each interaction into an opportunity for development, which empowers us to communicate more clearly, persuasively, and empathetically. Feedback, when embraced with openness and humility, can be one of the most transformative forces in our journey toward becoming more effective communicators. In conclusion, speaking with purpose and being open to feedback are essential components of effective communication. By cultivating the mindset of intentionality in your speech and embracing feedback as a tool for growth, you can enhance not only your communication skills, but also your ability to connect with others, inspire change, and make a lasting impact. Remember, communication is an evolving skill, one that requires continuous practice, self-reflection, and openness to learning. By striving to speak with clarity and purpose while remaining receptive to the perspectives of others, you'll ensure that your words are meaningful, impactful, and contribute positively to the conversations around you. Keep refining your approach, stay humble, and embrace the power of both purposeful speaking and constructive feedback to unlock your full potential as a communicator.